Alright guys, welcome back. Looks like we're getting ready for a finals game. It will be Anthony versus Anil. Anthony playing Dragon. I do believe it is Seeker of Void, but I could be wrong. Let me check on the list real quick. Anil obviously running that Kyuden Asawa Seeker of Air deck that is oh so notorious for being a very strong mid-range style deck that generally has a little bit of a slow start but a very powerful late game. He is indeed running Seeker of Void. That leads me to believe that this is not a dual variant of Dragon, utilizing Miramото Daisho and the Defend Your Honor, but perhaps the more classical Monk Hybrid Dragon that makes use of Mitsu and Void Fist. Players are mulliganing now. It looks as though the Dragon player is going to be the first player here, which leads me to believe that he won the coin flip. Generally, I think people prefer to go first because it gives you the first opportunity to take Passing Fate turn 1. This matchup in particular usually leans toward the Phoenix because Phoenix has the removal options for Dragon, and Dragon, without Neaton Master, doesn't really have the ability to pressure Phoenix enough to force them out of the game early. And as I said before, Phoenix is a deck that just has a very strong late game, kind of playing like a ramp mid-range style, using Embrace the Void and board clears to just stabilize the board and put yourself in a huge position. And big cards like Asawa Tadaka locking your opponent out of options definitely help there. We also know Anil is running the Emperor, so he has a huge bent for taking the Imperial Favor. And cards like Censure can be pretty big when your opponent's packing Void Fist. Oh, both players open with the Imperial Palace. Anil finds Prodigy of the Waves probably the best character to buy against Dragon turn 1. It's a big character that lets you play out your attachments so that you don't have to worry about attacking into Resto, and it can ready itself. So you can put big pressure on Dragon if they decide to go small. Doom Shugenja, not the best against Phoenix, but still fine. It trades for an Against the Waves at worst, and at best is still the 1-cost 3/3 we know and love. We're going to see Anil go for the 2 Fate Prodigy. Thinking about 3, I believe. But I think he's going to leave 1 back just to be safe. 3 Fate is definitely a little greedy. Plus, you have this Emperor, and if you can get the Emperor on the board turn 2, then you're looking really nice. And Neil gets the first Passing Fate too. That's huge. I'm really surprised to see Anthony buy this Mia Mystic with a Fate now. But I guess maybe he feels like he really needs it. Both players bidding 5, and Neil goes up into 9 cards. So does Anthony. No extra card draw for either player. Anthony does have the first conflict here. And with these Imperial Palaces on the board, this is going to be a very pivotal turn 1, kind of determining who gets the favor, can lock things down. I do believe that maybe passing. He scouts with the Mia Mystic, finds Meditations. It's not going well for Anthony here. It's a small advantage there for Anil that could replicate throughout the turns. Looks like Anil's just going to eat this Fire Ring, having that 2 Fate. He's going to play the Embrace the Void on the Mia Mystic just to get a Fate here. Anil did this play last game as well, just using Embrace the Void as a quick turn a card into a Fate, which is definitely strong enough in this game. He's going to Meditations that Mia Mystic in order to get that Fate back, and now we're seeing an Against the Waves spent just to bow it, prevent the conflict from doing anything. I wonder if we're going to see a conflict character come out from Anthony here, trying to salvage this ring. Again, this turn 1 is all about the favor. And right now, Anil doesn't have to do anything and he will claim it. I won't be surprised if we see Anil pass his first conflict here. Yeah, so Anil double checks to make sure Anthony has no action before playing that Embrace the Void. But since he's playing cards, I think we're going to have the Mia Mystic sacked just to kill off that Embrace the Void. No long-term fate advantage for Anil. Ancient Master comes down just to help play around Resto a little more. And Neil's going to go for that Water Ring here. Going to scout the Palace. And that is Resto. Smart play by Anil to play those 2 cards. I think he loses 1. Yes, 1 card. And he chooses to discard another Ancient Master. Anthony kind of forced to defend because letting this water ring go leaves you open to being clouded. Or, sorry, to your Doom just getting bowed anyway, and you don't want to lose your palace. So the cloud gets let go here. We see 2 Void Fists in Anthony's hand, definitely signaling that's his restricted list card here. Water Ring gets taken by Anil. He's now able to ready that Prodigy and do an Earth attack, giving him a solid turn 1 advantage. He's already found Resto. He'll go back up to 4 cards in hand. I think Anthony will go down to less than that even. I think he's got 7 right now. So right now, 7-3. Card advantage definitely in Anthony's favor. I expect to see a military still going for fire, trying to dishonor this Prodigy and get rid of the Emperor here. So Prodigy is going to defend. We're going to see the Hurricane Punch come out here. We're going to Bonsai on our Prodigy of the Waves for Anil. This is going to make it very hard for the Void Fist to do anything. And there we go. A Water Ring, we're just attacking with the Ancient Master now because Anil almost assuredly gets favor. I believe it is currently looking like 3 rings to 1. Discards a Void Fist, that's huge if Tadaka shows up now. So, definitely a very strong start for Anil. Pretty much exactly where you want to be as the Phoenix player in this matchup. Now he's going to be able to buy the Emperor with 2 Fate if he wants, but I almost imagine Anil's just going to take a light turn here and pass. He's able to bounce off this palace that has Resto that's been flipped now as much as he wants. And if he kills the palace, then there's no way that Anthony's going to be able to contest the favor. And I have to wonder if Anthony's deck is really built towards the favor. Because sometimes Dragon players, they're running like 3 Sumiko as well as other big Haymaker cards. We got a little camera adjustment here going on. I don't think that made it better. There we go. Anil decides to discard the Emperor. Finds Tadaka, though. Immediately snap buys it. Probably 3 Fate? Yep, 3 Fate. Spends it all. And as first player, he's going to get the first opportunity to pass. If Dragon doesn't buy a character here, then they're not looking super great. They currently have no conflict characters in hand. So Dragon kind of forced to buy a character here, just to be able to play the game. Mitsu gets countered by Tadaka as well. We'll be able to play any of the monks in the discard pile, but will not be able to play the Void Fist and the Hurricane Punch that usually gets Mitsu value. So determining how many Fate we want to put on Mitsu. 3 can be a little dicey, but Anil cannot play Consumed by 5 Fires right now. Decides to go for 2. Wait, but did he spend 8 Fate? Okay, he's got 1. Okay. Whew. Alright. How well can Mitsu hold up here? I think I saw another Embrace the Void in Anil's hand in the flash there. I could be mistaken. Some of the card art can be hard to see. Well, it looks like we're going for a Void Ring here. Gonna just slowly kill Mitsu rather than go for the flashy 5 Fires play later. Sends Tadaka Political Void. And trading cards is very much in Anil's advantage right now because of Tadaka's text box saying that his opponent cannot play events that are in his discard pile. So it looks like we're going to see a Mountain Does Not Fall go on to Mitsu. And then we're going to Court Games to dishonor Mitsu, probably traded for a Court Games of his own. An Ornate Fan goes on to Tadaka here, which will give him 5 political to the 3 of Mitsu. And then a Clarity comes down to match the Mountain Does Not Fall that it'll be on Mitsu. Mountain very strong this turn because Anthony is second player, so Mitsu will basically be able to defend both conflicts and then attack again. The Void Ring will be resolved though, giving Anil a slight edge. Alright, looks like Anil going for even more advantage now. Gonna go for that Earth Ring. Thinking about fire though, fire would be quite strong to just dishonor Mitsu. Yeah, decides to swap last second and go fire. So it's currently a military of 6 to 4. I saw an assassination in Anthony's hand. Anil knows that he runs that card. I wonder if Anil will just never buy any cheap characters outside of conflict characters, making the assassination super low value. And something that may not be super noticeable is both players are both looking at the favor. Right now, Anthony has 6, Anil has 7. So Anthony's kind of forced to attack here in order to get Anil to commit and maybe steal the favor away. So it looks like Anil's going to get his Seeker Fate here. And I think he just decides not to defend. It's military. Oh no, yeah, he can't defend because of Mitsu's covert. Of course, of course. And if Anil's ever threatened to losing the favor, he can always use his stronghold to replay the Against the Waves he played turn 1 and ready Tadaka, which will give him +2 towards that favor, thanks to Tadaka's 2 glory. So we see Anil spend the fields to draw a card. Looks like he was able to defend there. I'm curious what the covert was used on. Anil passes the turn over. Mitsu goes to no fate, now vulnerable to a water ring. And then Anil goes to 9 to Anthony's 8 fate. So very slight advantage for Anil right now, but after this next turn, I think Anil will be in a very commanding position, still keeping Tadaka around, where the Mitsu investment will disappear. Mitsu already just being dishonored is a huge blow to the board state of the Dragon player. Anil being first player has to decide if he's going to discard the Palace first. And I think Anthony just decides to do it after that. But he might have kept the Palace had Anil decided to discard his. So smart play by Anthony. Finds Raitsugu. Strong pickup. Good character to maybe start rebuilding your board. You do have to be careful not to play too hard into 5 fires, though. We saw a Censure in Anthony's hand. Not going to do much here. We're going to see the Mia Mystic bot for 2 fate. And Neil thinking about going for Suki. Will give him a pretty strong Supernatural Storm. We saw a couple in his hand. I think he's considering whether or not he's going to go for 5 fires this turn before he commits. And if he decides he's not going to do 5 fires no matter what this turn, then Ujina might be a better play. Decides to just go for the pass instead. Keep that 5 fires open. Keep your dragon opponent down from building too strong of a board. Even if you were just removing 3 fate off this Raitsugu with the duplicate, it's super worth it to 5 fires here because you still have a board and your dragon opponent doesn't. Both players bidding 5 again. Coming in, I see Anil drew another Censure. That'll be quite good for any event that Anthony might play. I don't know if there's any left, though. We've seen the Mountain, we've seen the Hurricane Punch, we've seen the Void Fist. We see the Embrace the Void come down now. Not a keeper roll. Anil shouldn't have to worry about any cancels here. He's seen that there's Crab Splash, so he's just putting that Embrace down now. He doesn't necessarily have to go for the 5 fires. Gets Let Go. We're going to censure that Let Go. No more Let Goes can be played, and then we're just playing the Consume by 5 fires. Spending 2 fate to remove 3. Talk about a deal. I do see one reprieve there in Anthony's hand, so he'll be able to save something this turn. If Mutsu can get re-honored, that seems like the good option. But Raitsugu would be good too if Mitsu stays dishonored. I think I would probably rather have Raitsugu in this position. Yeah. Unfortunately, the glare on Anil's cards is a little rough, but that card in the middle there is a Sawa Tadaka, just to remind people. And he has 2 Fate. I see some people in chat asking why Anthony didn't sacrifice the Mia Mystic to kill the Embrace the Void. I do believe that was a draw phase action window where that exchange happened. So the Mia Mystic could not be used to kill the Embrace the Void. Because Mia Mystic requires it be the conflict phase to be sacrificed. So we're seeing a military Earth Ring with Mitsu here. Probably going to just covert Tadaka, it looks like. We're going at Meditations because it's currently the blank province. We're just going to favorable ground Tadaka in there. So 5-1. Not many plays Anthony can make here. He could use Mitsu to play a Tattooed Wanderer from his discard pile. That might be a good play right now. But you do kind of have to forecast whether you're going to need that Tattooed Wanderer in later conflicts. So yeah, Tadaka manages to defend that Earth Ring, keep his effect active, and now we're going for a Water Ring with the Prodigy. Super strong, going to be able to ready Tadaka and then use her ability to ready herself. It's Anthony, I think you just got to let this go. If you defend, you're just giving Anil more value out of this conflict, maybe? Unless you really think you can win. If you can, like, duel with Raitsugu and kill the Prodigy, you're super solid here. But that requires getting bigger than the Prodigy, and I didn't see many swords in Anthony's hand here. Plus, you're committing weapons to a Fateless Raitsugu. Can be tricky. So we are playing a sword now. And Neil can also just cloud the Raitsugu. Prevent that threat. So Anil should currently be 3. Oh, that's political, yes. So we do see the duel happen. Anil overbids here, I think, to tie the duel. Because I don't see Raitsugu leaving play. Oh, no, he underbids. I see. So it looks like we're going to play in Against the Waves to ready Tadaka at home now, using our Stronghold. So we attacked Water Ring basically to bow Raitsugu. I see a let go in Anil's hand for the reprieve too. I think that's gotta be it. But then again, I guess Anil hasn't broken any provinces yet. He is going to have to actually start turning this advantage into broken provinces and winning the game. So we see a Void with the Mia Mystic coming in. Display of Power does nothing here. So I wonder if Anil is going to defend. It is political, so he could play a Clarity of Purpose if he has one. Looks like he does just defend and take that ring. I wonder if he's going to play another Against the Waves. Nope, just plays the Shrine Maiden instead. Triggers, draws a Display of Power and a Cloud the Mind, discarding Fine Katana. That's a pretty good maiden, I would think. Goes for the military fire, finds one of the 4 strength provinces. I think that was fertile fields. It could be vassal fields. It was vassal fields. Oh, we're playing another Shrine Maiden. We're triggering. We're going again. Supernatural Storm. Bonsai. Against the waves. Drawing 2 spells. Discarding Bonsai. Still a pretty good Maiden. Definitely in Neil's favor. So it's 3-0 right now. And Neil's going to go for a Supernatural Storm for 1 just to break. Assassination comes out. Spinning 3 honor. That puts Neil down to 2. This does make it awkward for him. He might have to find Katana, his Shrine Maiden, if he wants to really push this break. I think he does. There it is. Bind Katana comes down, going to 4. His opponent can't play Let Go. He could play the Tattooed Wanderer in his hand, though, if he really wants to defend this. Anil just pushing his opponent. It's bullying is what it is. I see a Tattooed Wanderer, some attachments like a Finger of Jade, some utility attachments. Alright, sees the Mia Mystic play, goes and removes that Katana now. Really saving that Tattooed Wanderer, hoping to give Covert to someone else, perhaps later. Maybe just needs the Complicators. The 3rd Shrine Maiden, Anil goes for it against the waves. Bonsai. Censure. That one was a little okay, but still getting a cycle of 1 there. It's pretty okay. Anil can spend another Supernatural Storm here to go to breaking again. Anil, again, just trying to draw answers out of Anthony. Trying to get him to play his cards now on defense where they're just less impactful than they would be otherwise. Breaks the fertile fields. Next turn, I think Anil's looking to break 2 more provinces so that he can get onto the stronghold and then finish the game on the last turn. Tadaka's here. We see a reprieve. That's going to get almost immediately let go by Anil. And there is no recourse for that by Anthony. So all the Shrine Maidens go down. And we go to the Fate phase. Honored Tadaka stays on board. Anil up in Fate, up in Honor. I believe up in Cards. I could be wrong there, though. Way up on board. And this is why it's such a hard matchup for Dragon. It's really hard to get your incremental engines going when Phoenix can just remove your board if it ever gets to a point where those engines can start paying off. I doubt Anthony's going to concede, though. I think it's worth just playing it out. Tadaka can leave play in 2 turns. If you can somehow manage to survive those 2 turns, Tadaka leaves play, you're back in the game. That's the beautiful thing about this game. There's no board state that doesn't eventually leave play, and eventually you can win that way. Well, I say that, but then a Tadaka dupe happens. That's going to make it a little harder. Definitely not what you want to see as Anthony. Finds another copy of Mitsu, though. Might be able to help him out. Yokuni, not going to do a super huge amount. Also, Anil flips Kanjo District. Finds Ujina here, or buys Ujina here, rather. 3 Fate Ujina. Able to recurse that consumed by 5 fires in his discard pile. It's really awkward for Anthony to do much of anything here. So you can buy this Mitsu. It doesn't matter how much fate you put on him. If Anil wants to kill the Mitsu, he can kill the Mitsu. Looks like Anil's gonna pass, not going for the duplicate on Tadaka. Anthony spends out his fate just to get the Doom Shugenja. If he can get a fate off a ring here, he can play like a Cloud the Mind maybe. There's a chance that Anil doesn't have the 3rd Let Go. 5 on both players. Actually, looks like Anthony bids 1. Realizing there's not a super huge number of cards that he can draw. Maybe it was a 2 bid? I couldn't see exactly there. Anthony was also quite low in honor thanks to that assassination, so maybe feeling the need he needs to recoup, but his hand is not the greatest. He might have needed to draw some cards there just to see if he can draw anything he can play. And he'll going in for that Void conflict first. Sending just Ujina, Political Void. See the third let go in Anil's hand. That's going to be critical here. Doom Shugenja defends. It's going to be 4-3. Anil spends an Ornate Fan. 6-3. Looks like we're bowing. We're just going to play the Consumed again. We're going to remove 2 Fate. And Anil threatening to remove Mitsu from the game with Ujina, leaving Dragon with no board, no Fate. Yeah, claims the Void Ring. The Restoration is still alive, though. Anil does still need to get these breaks in. But he should be able to very easily break this Resto now. You see Anthony go to discard the Doom Shugenja, only to return to the board, realizing he doesn't lose all of his board, just the Mitsu. But it might as well be gone. Tadaka gonna scout now. Hitting Upholding Authority would be the worst here. Finds Pilgrimage. That's a pretty good find. Though Shameful Display wouldn't be any better here. So Pilgrimage is technically slightly better if he can prevent the break. Tadaka looks like I missed something. I think the Pilgrimage should be broken. I think Anthony's just perhaps a little tilted. See some rushing through the phases here. Going into the Fate phase. Anthony becomes first player, and Neil keeps the Tadaka duplicate probably. Well, almost assuredly. And Anil can probably go for the win here. Took a while to get there, but it looks like it's going to happen this turn. Find Secluded Shrine. Not going to do a super huge amount here. Does give him +1 for favor. So Neil's Dynasty phase is just going to be to duplicate Tadaka, and that will be that. Still has Conjure, though. Third copy of Mitsu gets found by Anthony, though, once again, I'm not sure if you can just buy it. Sumiko is really sad without the favor. We're buying the Togashi Initiate here. Did Anil just pass without duping Tadaka? I see. So an interesting play here by Anil. Going for the pass instead of duping Tadaka. This is just so he can buy an even bigger Tadaka and keep him around even longer if needed. So he's okay with the current Tadaka leaving play, and next turn he'll just play the second Tadaka with 3 or 4 more Fate and keep the lock going. So it's a very wise play by Anil. Looks like Anil decides to bid 1 there. Takes 4 Fate from Anthony, who draws 5. I think Anil's deck has like 2 cards in it. Looking through the discard pile yet again, checking to see what cards are left. not sure if there's any major events left. I mean, there's censures, but Anthony hasn't had the favor all game. He's had 2 censures that are dead in hand. Looks like we're fanning out the events here. Hurricane Punch, Void Fist, Mountain does not fall. Court Games, Let Go, Assassination. So Tattoo Wanderer comes down. We're going in for a Military Earth here. Ancestral Die Show, a strong attachment here. Going to be able to return to hand. So you're not really afraid to commit it to a no-fate character. And you'll just spend Display of Power, taking the Earth Ring, keeping that lock on. Doesn't really care about losing the Secluded Shrine either in this case. I expect to see Neil go for a big attack here to break the Restoration. Perhaps spend a few stands and then go with the Dragon Stronghold, and that'll be how he's trying to close this game out. Political Water for 6 here. Gonna bow that Initiate out. And looking at Anthony's hand, he's got not a super huge amount he can play. Defends with the Initiate because there's no real reason not to. We see a court game spent to honor the Ujina. Get a Neil some extra stats. I have to imagine we're going to see a Clarity of Purpose come down here too. Bowing the Stronghold, playing that. And then the Water Ring's going to be used on nothing, but it forced the Initiate to defend. And Neil has 2 characters standing ready to go at the Dragon Stronghold. This Restoration of Balance should be broken, and Mitsu should be discarded. But I think Anthony is just a little far gone in the game. Yeah, so no conflict characters come down, saving them for the Stronghold defense here. This should be Secluded Shrine. And indeed it is, so he'll be able to stand up the Tattooed Wanderer here. Current skill totals are 12 to 4. 4 from Ujina, 7 from Tadaka, 1 from Favor. So it looks like we're just going to Kanjo District. And there's the concession. So that'll be the game. I can definitely feel for Anthony there. Could definitely feel like he just felt like there's nothing he can do. And there really wasn't a super huge amount with the way the game ended up playing out. And Neil played it super well, though. Just knows the matchup like the back of his hand. And managed to draw through basically his entire deck. So congratulations to Anil for winning this Kotei. Denver Kotei, I believe, had 60 odd players, close to 50, 60, somewhere in there. So very strong turnout by the American populace. And Neil definitely played well every single way. He went undefeated in Swiss. And then in the 2 games we saw him on stream, we just saw pretty much near perfect play, particularly in the Unicorn game against Action Johnny last round. You can definitely go back and check out that game if you want. It'll be on the VOD as well as on the YouTube channel. Neil definitely very upfront with a very unusual Tadaka +2 play turn 1 in that matchup. Really did help him out. So playing he's taking Unicorn very seriously there, because they can definitely run you over if you're not careful. Yeah, and Neil used to play a ton of Dragon, so the matchup here in the finals, he kind of very much well knew what his opponent's deck could do, and just played around most of what Anthony could put forward, and unfortunately it just was a long, drawn-out, one-sided kind of game. And he'll definitely just slowly building up his advantage to an inevitable win. Alright guys, well, that'll be it for the stream. I want to thank once more Tucson L5R for hosting the stream on YouTube and giving us the ability to rebroadcast it here. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, leave a follow on the Twitch stream. I do try to stream most Koteis that I'm not at if they have a stream available and they're looking for English restream. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes not. This time I went solo, so there might have been a little bit more dead periods than usual, and hopefully that's not too awkward. But just thanks, guys. Stay tuned. There should be next US Kotei is going to be Seattle, I believe, and that's going to be at the end of May, so about 4 weeks. I'll post the... Oh, it looks like Kikaze beat me to it. Posting the Lotus Pavilion in the chat there so that anyone who missed that can go ahead and see it. Anyways, thanks you guys. See you next time.